Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to my new video. In today's video, we're going to talk about Iran and also what Trump has been saying, especially the fact that the Strait of Hormuz is open, or should I say the Strait of Persia. The fact that Trump is blatantly lying and saying that Iran was involved in the destruction of USS Cole and all those troops in Iraq that the Americans were fighting. Apparently, it's all Iran's fault. We're going to go through all of that. And as you can see, Trump here, he's he's um it's quite funny because do you guys remember when Trump used to make fun out of Joe Biden? He used to call him Sleepy Joe. Well, the whole world was calling him Sleepy Joe, but Trump especially was making fun out of him. He called him Sleepy Joe at any possible moment. And what does Trump do? Look at him. He falls asleep at the job. It's even worse. He's not even hiding it. He's not even trying to hide it. At least Biden used to he used to try hard to keep awake, and his aides used to nudge him a little, and he used to. But Trump here, he blatantly falls asleep in the Oval Office. Blatantly, he literally So it's hilarious. But the thing is, guys, Trump certainly likes to talk a big game. Is this what America has become? Somebody who likes to talk a big game, but no action. He seems to be claiming all of these wins. He's saying that America is in the golden age. He says the Strait of Hormuz is open. He says Iran's military is destroyed. America won the war. He says America is is in the golden age. His economy is doing well. Gas prices are low. Grocery prices are low. Inflation is down. All of these lies. All of these big game talk. Is this what America has become? Do you remember the time when people used to make fun out of that Iraqi guy during the Iraq war? There was one propagandist. I can't remember his name. And they used to make fun out of him because he used to blatantly lie. Well, Trump is now 1,000 times worse. 1,000 times. His lies are beyond parody here. For example, let's start with this particular statement. Iran had said that they want reparations for America attacking Iran and all the damages caused. But Trump comes around and says USA wants reparations. He wants USA reparations for all these American troops who got killed in Iraq. He also wants reparations for USS Cole attack by ISIS. He wants reparations for basically wasting missiles and weapons on Iran for 50 years, apparently. So let's go through this one by one. It wasn't Iran that attacked America. It was America that attacked Iran without any UN backing. So it was an illegal war of aggression. And America lost. America has no cards to play at the moment. No cards. So when Trump said they want reparations from Iran, do you really think Iran's gonna sit there and give all their reparations to America? No, because Iran has all the cards. They control the strait. They control the world economy. They control the oil in the region. What goes in, what goes out. And Iran pretty much has all the cards, and America's got no cards. America's reserves, oil reserves, are going down every single day. I think it's reached around 290 million barrels or something, I heard. Could be less. But did you know that once it gets to 270, that becomes the critical level, and we could hit critical level by next week? What does critical level mean? It means that oil is at such a low level that it's going to become extremely difficult to extract it, because we are talking, you know, extracting it from salt mines and getting more expensive equipment. You're literally scraping off oil from a barrel. That's what you were doing. Absolutely impossible. Impossible, guys. There's no oil coming in from the Middle East, which means the Americans, their oil or gas prices go up in the pumps. Sure, America and the oil execs are making tons of money. All these major oil companies, they're exporting to the rest of the world. Yeah, sure. But it's a different type of oil, you see. The oil that comes from fracking is a different type of oil that comes from the Middle East, Saudi Arabia, Iraq, for example. And the refineries in America are mainly based to refine oil from the Middle East, because that's the oil that the Americans need for gas in the cars and factories and things like that. So America doesn't need Middle Eastern oil. You cannot survive on fracking by itself. It needs different types of oil. Different types of oil have different types of needs. Diesel is going to be the main casualty here. There's a massive shortage of diesel. So what else did he say? He said that Iran killed American soldiers in Iraq. So let me remind everyone that America went on an illegal war in Iraq. And that war wasn't approved by the UN. It was an illegal war based on fake evidence. Weapons of mass destruction, they said. No weapons of mass destruction was found. And what have the Americans done so far? Oops, sorry, we made a mistake. It's our false intelligence. Don't worry, it won't happen again. Slap on the wrist. That was it. Nobody got tried. Nobody went to jail. That's it. It was an illegal war. And under international law, Iraqis have a right to defend themselves in any means under international law, because America is the occupier. They went into Iraq as an occupying force. And the Iraqis were the defenders. They were defending their land from the occupiers. So under international law, they can kill as many American soldiers as they like. Why should America ask for reparations from Iraq, from Iran? Yeah, sure, Iran was helping. But what they were doing was legal under international law. Let's talk about the other thing that he lied about. He said Iran killed American soldiers in the USS Cole attack. Everybody knows that the USS Cole was attacked by ISIS, not Iran. ISIS is not Iran, guys. In fact, Iran has been fighting ISIS in the Middle East. And who's ISIS? ISIS is the guy Trump is inviting in the White House, the Syrian leader. He used to be a member of ISIS, Al-Qaeda. And he's to shake his hand. That's the guy who killed American soldiers, but then he gets invited to the White House. They hug him and shake his hand. Iran had nothing to do with USS Cole, nothing. And he says Iran should pay reparations to America for the last 50 years. Well, who's been placing sanctions on Iran? Iran has been under heavy sanctions since 1979. People there have been suffering. They've had people have had no medicine, no nothing for 50 years. They had to build everything from scratch. It's Iran that should be asking for reparations from America for everything that America's done to Iran. All these sanctions, all these illegal wars of aggression, bombing of children in schools. Terrible, guys. Absolutely terrible. What a leader Americans have. This is unbelievable. So Trump has recently said that the strait was open in an interview. They asked him, well, what about the strait? He says the strait was open, ready for business. The strait is not open. I mean, look at the traffic. There's hardly anything going through, apart from a few ships, obviously, but they're going through. You can see, like, after they're paying their tolls or the fees to Iran. America said there's a blockade against Iran. There isn't. Yeah, sure, there is a blockade, but this blockade is affecting the world. All America is doing is wasting more American tax dollars, and they're blockading the world so the world doesn't get the oil that it needs. And they're doing it out of spite to destroy the world economy. Countries are happy to pay the toll to Iran and go through the strait. They're happy to do that. It's America that's stopping them. Because America, obviously, they want to cut. They want to cut. It's greed, guys. It's greed. It's a really funny picture of MBS hiding behind Erdogan there. As you can see, the oil prices have been going up again. And Trump's lies about the strait being open and all of that is nobody believes that anymore. The only time the oil prices go down is when Trump releases the strategic reserves. He releases quite a few million barrels, oil price goes down, and then a few days later oil prices start going up again. So if you think about it, all they are doing is suppressing the oil price. So what they're going to do when the SPR or the reserves go to zero, what are they going to do? How are they going to bring the oil price down? They can't. It's absolutely impossible, guys. So Iran sent a statement yesterday saying that Iran is absolutely done with Donald Trump. They don't trust him. They don't want to deal with him. And they would rather wait until Trump's term has finished in 2029 and they will deal with the next president. That's Iran's statement. And I don't blame them. You can't have any deal with Donald Trump. No deal is worth anything on paper with Donald Trump. Nothing. You sign a deal one day and he tears it up the next day, and he's done it many times. Many times. He tore up the JCPOA, he signed the MOU, then he started sending ships through the strait, and then he was inviting attacks from Iran, and then he started bombing all the Iranian ports in Hormuz, in Bandar Abbas, and places like that. So he doesn't care about MOU or anything being signed. So what Iran is saying now, they will not do anything with Trump unless they pay everything up front. So they want the 300 billion reparations up front. They want the frozen money to be unfrozen up front. They want Israel to stop attacking Lebanon and Palestine and leave that area. They want that. There's a few other demands as well that the Iranians want as well. They want America to stop attacking Iran and stop threatening Iran. They want the blockade to stop. So you see, guys, Iran is not playing around anymore. They know they have all the cards. What else did the Iranians want? They want American troops to be out the region. Complete US withdrawal. And you can understand it because Iran doesn't want another strike and an attack on Iran anytime the US wants or Israel wants. So they want them out. But it looks like Iran is driving them out anyway. If you look at the bases in Kuwait and Qatar, Bahrain, UAE, they're absolutely destroyed. Absolutely destroyed. There's no radar, there's no command center, there's no equipment, nothing's there. Defenseless. No Patriot missiles, no THAAD. Absolutely defenseless. So it would be absolutely crazy for any Americans to stay there in those bases. I think what the Americans are probably doing, they're probably setting up command centers inside hotels. I think that's what they're doing. They're going to use the Arabs as human shields. They're going to blend in. I believe that's what's happening. And the Arabs are allowing it. So what can Trump do? What can he do? He's obviously escalating it. You know, he's got three choices. He can pack up and leave and, you know, take all of Iranian demands. Will he do that? I don't think his ego will allow it. I don't think his Israeli paymasters will allow it. Because don't forget, Trump is an absolute slave to his Israeli masters. Absolute slave. You got Miriam Adelson, who's given him 300 million for his campaign. She literally holds him hostage to that money. That money is not for free. He has to do everything Israeli first for that money. Literally has to sell his soul and do whatever the hell Israel wants. And not only that, he's got pure Zeds around him. Pure Zeds. Everyone around him in his cabinet, they're all Zeds. You got Rubio. You got Howard Lutnick. You got Kushner on the sides. Obviously, he's not part of the cabinet, but he's always there. He's doing. He's always around him. You got Witkoff. You got Hegseth. All of them. They all controlled Zeds. Sorry, I nearly said it. Not only that, he's got Netanyahu on his back, telling him what to do, barking orders at him to, you know, telling him he's got to do this, he's got to do that. Then he's got the press, and obviously you know that the press is controlled by the same group of people. So they push an agenda as well. People like Mark Levine and Shapiro have a huge say in what Trump does, as well as women like Laura Loomer. So he's surrounded by these people telling him what to do. He's got no mind of his own. He's weak. He's weak, guys. Absolutely weak. He's the president of the United States. He needs to do what's right for the country, not what's right for Israel. He promised to drain the swamp. That's what he said. He said he will drain the swamp when he comes into office. He is the swamp. He's the swamp, guys. So yeah, he could leave the area, but he won't because of his ego, and obviously because of these people telling him what to do. So what's the second option? Second option is to blockade Iran, sanction them. That's what, what's his name, Besant has said a few days ago. He said they're going to sanction Iran. Iran's currency is worthless. They cannot sanction Iran, guys. They have tried sanctioning Iran for 50 years, and what's happened? Iran still got, hypersonic weapons. They've still won the war. So what's sanctions done to Iran? It's actually made Iran into a stronger country. Same way sanctions have made China stronger. Because you realize as a country, you have to rely on yourself. You cannot rely on the West. You cannot buy weapons from the West. You cannot buy technology. You have to build everything in-house. China learned this years ago. Iran has also learned this. Russia has learned this. And this is why these are the three major superpowers of the world. Because they can pretty much build everything themselves. Obviously, China is in the lead. But Russia and Iran will get there. And if China can build, semiconductors and everything that Russia needs and Iran needs, well, that's fine. If anything that they cannot build, they can just get it from China. And there is a direct link from Russia to Iran to China. From Russia to Iran, they can go through the Caspian Sea. They can send ships there. From Iran to China, there's a railway link. They can ship goods to there. So it doesn't matter if America can blockade Iran through the Indian Ocean. It doesn't matter because Iran can, send goods back and forth from Russia as well as China. They cannot block that. I think the Ukrainians tried blowing up an Iranian ship on the Caspian Sea, but immediately they apologized and offered to give money to Iran. I don't know what's happened to that. But Ukraine is getting his ass kicked at the moment by Russia. They do not want to get involved in another war with Iran. They don't. So that choice is completely dead in the water. The choice of sanctions and blockading Iran is not going to work. Iran has other options. And the third thing is to start a war again and escalate. They cannot keep bombing Iran because they've tried that many times. They pretty much bomb the same targets over and over again. Iran just puts up all these fake inflatable devices, tanks, missile launchers. They're all fake. They buy them in bulk from China. And America just goes around bombing these same targets over and over again. And this is why America's run out of missiles. So they've tried that. That didn't work. So what's the next option? Ground troops. Do you really think America's going to send ground troops to Iran? I really doubt that very much. Really doubt it. First of all, they would need 1 million ground troops because Iran is much, much larger than Iraq. And it's going to be a lot more difficult to invade Iran compared to Iraq. Iraq at the time, Iraq was under heavy sanctions at the time. They had nothing left, guys. Their military was destroyed. They had no missiles. They had no ways to defend themselves. And America knew that. They knew it would be an easy war for them, and it was. The biggest losses for America came after the war, with IED devices and, booby traps, and they used to bomb the, they used to kind of do the guerrilla warfare with America. That was the biggest issue for America for years in Iraq. But Iran, it will be 100 times worse, or 1,000 times worse, because Iran's still got its military intact. The sanctions have not affected it. Plus, they have all the new technology like drones and missiles. So Americans cannot just march in like they did with Iraq. They're going to suffer huge losses. Huge losses. That's going to be the end of America as we know it if they sent ground troops. Because Iran would just send, missiles and drones all day long. And what does America have to do? They have to transport people, weapons, equipment all the way from America all the way to the Hormuz. And it's going to be very expensive for them, while Iran can just build, drones and missiles all day long. Absolutely impossible. I think Trump knows this. His generals have probably told him. He just cannot win. So what does Trump do instead of piping down and, taking the loss? He escalates. He says the strait is America's. The strait is open. He says the blockade will stay. The longer the blockade stays, the worse it will be for America, for rest of the world, because oil is not being shipped. China is actually doing a huge favor for the world. China has reduced its oil purchases. Why? Because China's found ways to work without oil. They're using other things. They can use coal. They can use for cars. They're pushing for electric. So electric cars are going to be pushed even harder in China now, because the whole world realizes if you rely on oil, then as a country you won't survive. So China is pushing everyone to buy electric. They're also using green hydrogen as well to replace oil as well. They're using gas from Russia to replace oil. They're using renewables. So China is way ahead of everyone else. But the countries that will suffer is Japan, South Korea, India, Europe, possibly, other parts of Southeast Asia as well. And talking about Japan, let's look at this. I mean, this is the Japanese yen. So what they did was, I spoke about this a few videos ago. So what they did was they tried to save the yen by selling euros. They sold 20 billion worth of euros to buy the yen, to strengthen the yen. But they didn't do it to help Japan, by the way. America never does anybody a favor if it doesn't have an advantage. The only reason they tried to save the yen is because Japan threatened to sell US treasuries and bonds. That's the only reason they did that. So the Europeans are not happy, obviously. So I think Europeans should go ahead and sell American bonds, 20 billion worth, tit for tat. But anyway, this intervention only lasted a few days because the yen has gone up again. And they're back to where they started without the 20 billion euros they spent. So what they're going to do now? They're going to have to sell dollars to buy the yen, or Japan will have to sell the bonds and treasuries. And if they do that, there's two options. One, America will have to print a lot of money. And if they print a lot of money right now, they can forget about cutting interest rates because inflation is going to run rampant again. So they're stuck, really. They've got no options. They're stuck. I'm going to talk about this shortly. But let's talk about Greenland. Trump has sent some oil drillers illegally in Greenland. And I'm saying illegally. There's no, there's no permit or anything like that. He just sent them illegally to Greenland to drill oil, to steal the oil. And Trump has been posting this, as you can see. So what have the Europeans said? Nothing. What have the Denmark people have said, government have said? They said they're going to send a strongly worded warning. That's what they said. They're going to send a strongly worded warning to Trump. A warning, a letter. That's as much as the Europeans will do. You see, there's a reason why the Europeans mostly surrendered during World War II. Many countries gave up without a fight. And they're going to do the same with the United States. Nobody in Europe will stand up to the United States. Nobody. They're all a bunch of chickens. The best they will do is write a strongly worded letter. That's the best. They would never ever fight against the United States. Never. Or stand up against it. Absolutely gobsmacking, guys. Remarkable. And finally, this little alliance that people think, is going to be the next NATO. Well, I'll tell you what, Yemen has already attacked Saudi Arabian oil refineries since this alliance was made. So what's happened? Has Turkey and Pakistan got involved attacking Yemen? No. This alliance is worthless. What will happen when Israel attacks Saudi Arabia? Do you think Turkey and Pakistan will get involved? I don't think so. They're not going to go head to head and fight Israel and America. Impossible. So what is this defense for? It's only for Yemen, guys. I don't see Turkey and Pakistan fighting Iran. Impossible. I think Pakistan will just pretty much make money out of it. Turkey will make money out of it. But nothing will happen. if Saudi Arabia really wants to survive as a country, it needs to change its ways. It needs to unblock the blockade against Yemen. They need to make peace with Iran, and I mean real peace. And they need to ask Iran for protection. If America cannot protect Saudi Arabia, Iran has proved that they are the military superpower of the region. And they need to go to Iran and just say, look, we want the Americans out as much as you, but can you protect us? And let Iran basically protect the whole region. They have proven to take on Israel and America at the same time. So let Iran do the security for the region. And you will see peace in the region. All these Middle Eastern puppet countries will suddenly, become good. And they will start doing things right. And they will start, try and protect Palestine and the good stuff in the region. Right now, they're all pretty much puppets, Z puppets. That is the only way. Then you can have countries like Pakistan and Turkey joining in. You can have the whole of Middle East basically joining as one military pact alliance. And watch what Israel does. They will pack up and leave. They will have no choice. They will think all the Israelis living in Israel will be thinking, oh God, we need to get the hell out of here. That's the only way for the Middle East. And that's it, guys. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care for now.